We've got the Nintendo Switch, we got the Switch Lite, the Switch OLED, the Mr. Game & Watch, and Mario Kart Live. But I think we all agree that it's time for a new, better system. What's up everybody? Thank you for clicking on this video. Please hit that like button and that subscribe button. It really helped the channel out a lot. And let's get straight to it. Hope you enjoy. 47 years ago. You might be asking yourself, Kyle, what happened 7 years ago? I'll tell you what happened. The Switch was just coming out. I know, it's already been 7 years since the Nintendo Switch saved us from the childish handheld of the 2DS and the malformation known as the Wii U. Believe it or not, there was a point in time where people thought that Nintendo was totally out of the console making business. Kind of similar to the state Xbox is in now. But they went Game 6 LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals and saved their legacy. And save their legacy they did, coming out with heat like Super Mario Odyssey, 3D World, Super Smash Bros., and the Zelda titles. Which ultimately opens up the floor to a whole new set of questions. When a console gets to be, I don't know, 7 years old, there start to be rumblings about a new system coming out. Also, on top of that, the release of a Zelda title usually marks the beginning or the end of a cycle of Nintendo consoles. A Link to the Past came out in 1991, the SNES era ended in 1990, Majora's Mask came out in 2000, the GameCube debuts in 2001. The Wii comes out in 2006, along with Twilight Princess in 2006. Skyward Sword comes out in 2011, the Wii U comes out the next year. And of course, Breath of the Wild came out in 2017 with the Switch. And reportedly, Nintendo seems to be working on a new system. Microsoft is currently in the process of trying to purchase Activision Blizzard right now, and out of left field, dirty company secrets are beginning to show their faces like cockroaches when you turn the lights on. And one naughty little secret that we found as the Microsoft Activision deal made a longer than expected stop in the UK was that there's an unnamed mysterious console that Nintendo was set to release extremely soon. And some say that you can expect it as soon as Q2 of 2024. This lines up perfectly with the fact that Nintendo has been hard mute on any of the games releasing this year around Christmas time and beyond that, which could mean that they're gearing up for a new console release. The Switch is an outdated console, second rate to the real powerhouses like the PlayStation 5 and PC gaming. Now, although the Nintendo Switch does have beloved first-party titles like the Mario and everything like that, they are facing serious competition from the Steam Deck and Asus in the handheld gaming market, and they need to maintain dominance in that market. In other news, Hogwarts Legacy, the port for that is delayed for the Switch, but what else did you expect? If you really wanted to play Hogwarts Legacy, it'd be best to do it on literally any other console that it's out for. Join the other 12 million people doing that exact thing. People obviously buy and play the Switch for their first party titles and they want them to look amazing. Rightfully so. Okay, maybe not amazing, but at least decent and up to date. I'm talking Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Splatoon, Metroid, those titles, those major titles. As a community, we've already been over the fact many times that the Nintendo Switch lacks technologically, and that will in turn affect the graphics. Nintendo rather focuses on art direction to make a game look presentable and beautiful, and to be honest with you, it works great with side scrollers like Metroid and Mario. It works beautifully. But when the world is open and teeming with different creatures like in Zelda or Pokemon, the low resolution grass and trees covering out the whole thing, it can be an eyesore at times. And that is a shame because otherwise the game has a beautiful art direction. People are dying for a better system that could improve the graphics, maybe even have a larger Pokédex, or maybe even make the story longer, or maybe even make the maps larger. And finally make an actual open world Pokemon game instead of a semi-open world one. Now, as the world awaits the new console coming out from Nintendo to be announced, one important talking point from the last console was that the Switch did not drop in price at all after being 7 years on the market. And usually that does happen with older, outdated systems, even if they're current gen, because of falling component costs or strategic pricing. The president of Nintendo claims that the reason why we have a lack of a price drop is because of foreign exchange rates and, of course, inflation. What else? Who's not getting affected by that right now? And I can at least sympathize with that a little bit because some countries have seen a rise in price for the PS5, even though, it's only 3 years old, but they have seen a rise in price in countries like Canada, and we haven't seen that. other good news is from Nintendo is that the $70 price point that we've seen as the price point for Tears of the Kingdom is not the normal price point going forward, which makes up for it a little bit, I guess. And one minor problem that I personally have with Nintendo is that with the most recent game, Tears of the Kingdom, it's been great. I'm still playing it. I've been playing it for hours and still have only scratched the surface. But the one problem that I do have with this game is the fact that sometimes when Ultra Hand is used, and this is reported by other players, when Ultra Hand is used with too many enemies on the screen, you can face stuttering in the game, which it's just a little frustrating. Just a little frustrating. Mostly because I've definitely been one of those people. But despite all of the technical shortcomings, the Nintendo Switch has been an amazing success for Nintendo, selling over 1 billion copies of their games and making 4,500 titles almost out right now. And that number is only going up, which is crazy to think about when really diving into the numbers. The Nintendo Switch accounts for a fifth of Nintendo's all-time sales. Fifth. 20% of Nintendo's all-time sales. Remember when I told you about the 1 billion copies that Nintendo sold for the Switch? That transfers into, allegedly, about $34 billion. And that number spikes with the release of Tears of the Kingdom and the Super Mario movie, with, the Nintendo Switch being 7 years old and all. The Nintendo Switch family of systems is #1 in Nintendo's all-time software sales and #2 in Nintendo's all-time hardware sales, only second to the great, the magnificent Nintendo DS, a family that I am way too familiar with, because that has got to be one of my favorite consoles of all time, handheld or not. All of this information to basically boil down to this. We've got the Nintendo Switch, we got the Switch Lite, the Switch OLED, the Mr. Game & Watch, and Mario Kart Live. But I think we all agree that it's time for a new, better system. Switch 2 maybe. And the hopeful news is that we might not have to wait too long, which is great news, because the stuttering that I've experienced on the Switch as I'm playing a great game has been mildly infuriating, especially when I'm in the middle of a boss battle, which, by the way, the boss battles in that game have been pretty difficult. Either I'm taking them out of order and I'm under leveled, or they're actually pretty difficult, one of the two. The only negative thing that I can think of if Nintendo were to announce another system is the fact that the Switch is kind of like a B console to everybody's A console, so people are still buying Switches. And we'd all agree that 7 years, 7, 8, or 9 years of a lifespan for a console is not long enough. But my counterpoint to that is the fact that the Switch is a B console, and right now it's out for $300. That's the same price as an Xbox Series S. So I don't think it'd be too bad if they come out with a new console, 9 years, 8 years, 7 years later, especially with the fact that the Nintendo Switch is a handheld console, it's not really a traditional sit-down console. Also, if you compare the Switch to what it really is, a glorified tablet, people do change their tablets in between 7 to 9 years. So I think it fits perfectly even if Nintendo were to announce a new product. Another major question, if Nintendo were to release a new product, is would it have the Switch capabilities? Would it be a purely handheld system, or would it be a purely, television system, which would probably make the price larger and also make the graphics better? If Nintendo were to release a new system, would it be disc, or would they go back to cartridge since they bounce that back and forth? We've seen disc systems like the GameCube and the Wii, but every other console basically takes cartridge or SD card of some sort, from the Switch to the N64, my first ever system, and other systems like that. If Nintendo were to release a new system, would that new system have backwards compatibility and the emulation that we all want? Not exactly the emulation that we got with the Virtual Console and, the Nintendo Switch Online services. Will it get the actual 100% backwards 100% backwards compatibility and emulation that as a community we all would love? And another thing is, if everything out of this Activision deal thing in UK is true and Nintendo is releasing a system in Q2 of 2024 at the earliest, that would be a very short time in between announcement and release. That would be an extremely short time. And how long have they been working on that new system anyways? So yeah, anyways, there's a lot of questions if Nintendo will even announce a new system soon. Will it be out Q2 of 2024? Who knows? What I do know is that it is time, and I wouldn't be mad if it was announced, even though I just bought my Switch not in 2017, but a little bit after that. I would still be down for a total upgrade. But thank you all for watching this video. Thank you all for watching and staying this long. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. I got a lot more videos just like this. And if you stayed this long to watch the video, I promise you, you will like a lot more of my stuff. You just will. I have a lot more just like it. But I really want to say thank you all. The channel has been growing a lot. It's been growing pretty fast, and I couldn't be here without all of you. And I have to say thank you. And with that being said, spread love, give inspiration in all you do. You're leaving the breast show, but you don't got to leave the breast show, because I got a lot more breast show on the channel. But peace out. Don't let the bed bug bite. You know what I mean?
Welcome to the KART Show. Take 2.
100% backwards compatible.